Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning and I decided to come to my favorite river to spend some mindful quality time in nature. It's been a little while since I did something like this where I just come to a beautiful, picturesque location in the outdoors and just set up a blanket, take out my journal, do some journaling, and just take in the scenery. I just was really craving this, so I just feel like I just want to write down what's on my mind and heart and just see what flows. So, looking forward to it. Just love sitting here and listening to the sounds of the river. It's so peaceful and so beautiful. So I didn't really know exactly what I was going to share in today's video today besides just coming here to the river and doing some journaling. But through my journaling, the message has come through that I just wanted to share a little personal announcement, something that's happening in my life. So a few videos ago, I made a video talking about how I made a big decision recently in the month of August, and I didn't share what it was at the time, but now it feels like the time to share. The big news is that I am moving away from Colorado. I am leaving Colorado, and my husband and I purchased a house in Michigan. So there's a lot of reasons why we have decided to leave Colorado and move to Michigan. I know for some people, especially people who haven't gone to Colorado, lived in Colorado, been to Colorado, it probably sounds pretty confusing that somebody would want to leave Colorado and move to somewhere like Michigan. But there are reasons why we've made this decision, and I feel really good about them. It's not an easy decision to just pick up everything and move to a new state, but my husband and I did do that about 2.5 years ago, except we moved from Canada to the US, so we moved to different countries. So we're familiar with this process, and the idea of moving to a different state doesn't really seem that daunting because it's not as big of a thing as relocating to a different country. But with that being said, I wanted to share some of the reasons why we are leaving Colorado. So the first one is the challenges that come with the climate here. So Colorado is known for being very sunny and very beautiful. However, with that sunshine and heat, it's a very dry heat, and with that comes a lot of risks for forest fires. Forest fires is a problem here. It's also been a challenge when it comes to the idea of investing in a home in Colorado. So when my husband and I first moved to Colorado, we had this big vision of living in a mountain home and living in a home where we can step onto our balcony and see beautiful mountain views every single day. And that vision was what brought us to Colorado. We were so excited at the prospect of living the mountain life. And the thing is, reality set in very quickly once we started looking for a home here in Colorado. So it was always our plan to just move here and rent for a year just while we got situated and found out what areas we liked most and the areas that we would want to purchase a home in. So once that year passed by, we decided to work with a realtor and we started looking at mountain homes, and we were manifesting this mountain dream home that we had been thinking that we wanted. And then the reality set in that the vision of the perfect mountain home and mountain life just isn't as easy as you would think it would be if you're not somebody who's from the mountains. So some of the challenges of purchasing a home in the mountains are the fact that it is so dry here. The climate is so dry that there is, like I said, the forest fire risks. So because of the forest fires, it's really hard to get insurance on a home in the mountains here. And we learned that the hard way because we were looking at homes that were beautiful, that we felt like we fell in love with, that we felt like we could see our future in, only to not be able to offer on it once we learned that there were either only one or two insurance companies that would consider insuring the home, or there were none. There were some homes we looked at where no insurance companies would consider insuring the home. So to think about the prospect of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a home that can either not be eligible for insurance, or you can get insurance that later would drop you because of the forest fire risks, that just wasn't a risk that we were willing to take. And it was really disappointing to work through that and to know that this idealized vision of a mountain home that we thought that we were going to live just wasn't really going to be a reality because of the struggles with insurance and also with water. So water is a big issue here too because it's such a dry climate, it's a dry state, that if you have a home in the mountains, it's most likely built on rock. And the mountain homes being so high up, they're not on city water, they are on well. And because this state is so dry, there's issues with the homes that are on well in the mountains. They can run out of water, and if your home runs out of water, it's essentially worthless. So that was another issue, not just the forest fire risks, but the fact that wells run out of water here. And those things combined just really made it, just really solidified our decision that we didn't feel comfortable investing in a home here and investing so much money in a home here that could be really problematic in the future for us. The other deciding factor to leave Colorado and particularly move to Michigan was the closer that we would be to family and friends. So when we moved out to Colorado here, we took a big risk in moving to a place where we didn't know anybody, and we had to start fresh, and we had to make all new friends and know that our families were nowhere near us. Our families and friends that we had known and grown up with for our whole lives were about a 22-hour drive away from Colorado. So although we did make it home for many of the big holidays like Christmas, there were other events and family get-togethers that we just couldn't make it to. And for those of you who have a dog, you would know the struggle of wanting to bring your family pet on a vacation with you and knowing that doing that by flying is a really difficult thing. So we always said that when we went home to visit that we would drive the 3-day, 22-hour drive in order to bring Remington with us, because everybody wanted to see Remington too. He's part of our family too, and we didn't want all of our visits home to always mean that we had to get a dog sitter for Remy and that he couldn't be there with us for holidays. So we would make the long drives, and sometimes it meant that we couldn't attend events and couldn't do things with our family and friends because of the distance and the amount of time needed to drive. It's just 3 days to drive there and 3 days to drive back. So when it comes to taking time off of work, we'd had to take a minimum of 2 weeks for it to even be worth it. So the idea that we could be so much closer to family and friends, it was just a really intriguing idea. And the more we thought about it, the more it made sense, and the more it seemed like a good decision. So that was definitely one of the deciding factors for us leaving Colorado as well. And I would say overall the third major big decision for me was that Colorado is beautiful, but it never fully felt like home. It felt like a really beautiful place that I was living in for the time being, a place where I could easily go to the mountains. I already live in a town with the mountains, so I wake up every morning and I open my front door and I look from left to right and I can see mountain views, and that was so beautiful, and I've been so grateful for that. A lot of really cool towns and nice restaurants and a lot of beautiful features of the place where we live that we've really enjoyed and really loved. But I've still always felt this sense of feeling like it's not really home. And I think at the end of the day, my husband and I have really just been craving a place to call home again. Like I said, we only planned to rent for the first year of being here, and it's 2.5 years later, we're still renting the same place. And although we wanted that flexibility when we first moved to a new country, a new state, now we're really craving a place to call our own. We want our own home that we can grow into and renovate and buy our own furnishings for, and just have a place that's ours again. We were homeowners when we were in Canada, and we just loved owning our own home, and we've been missing that over the last couple years. So we're very excited to just be able to move into this new house that we purchased in Michigan. It's really beautiful. It's on an acre of land, and we're just very excited to be able to furnish it and decorate it and make it ours, and just have our own space again that's ours. It's so exciting, and I'm really excited for this next chapter of being able to do that. So that's my little life update. I'm moving to Michigan at the end of October. So for the time being, I'm just really focused on soaking up everything here that I enjoy in Colorado. It's part of the reason I came to visit my favorite river today, because I'm not going to be here for much longer anymore. So I really just want to show deep gratitude and appreciation for this place that has been where I've been living for the last 2.5 years, that has been my home, and just really soak up all the beauty and everything that I appreciate and love about it. As excited as I am for this next chapter, it's also bittersweet, because Colorado has been a really beautiful place to be for the last 2.5 years. It's the first time I ever lived anywhere other than where I was born, like where I came from in Canada, and it's been an adventure, and I've had so many learning lessons that I've experienced here. I've done so many new things. I've seen so many beautiful new sights. I've adapted to this whole new way of living, and Colorado has taught me a lot, and I've really appreciated everything. I've met some beautiful people here that have become really good friends, and it's going to be hard leaving them, knowing that I'm going to be so far away moving to Michigan now. But if you've been here for a while, you know that I have this life philosophy that everything happens for a reason, and I really do feel like this is the next chapter that I'm meant to pursue, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to to pick up and move and start again, and know from my experience that I've had in Colorado that I'm able to do that, that I'm resilient and that I'm brave, and I've done it before. I moved from Canada to the US to a whole new country and set up our life in a whole new place that we had never been to before, that I had never been to before, and knowing that I've done that once, I know that I can do it again. So I'm not nervous and I'm not scared about leaving Colorado and going somewhere new, but like I said, it's a little bittersweet because there's been so many wonderful, beautiful, amazing moments and memories that I've made here, and happily I get to take them all with me. That's the beautiful part about the journey of life, is that everything you go through, you get to learn from and grow from, and take all of those experiences with you no matter where you go. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. I'm gonna take the rest of this time just to spend some mindful time here and just watch the river flowing and take it all in and just relax a little bit. And one thing the river teaches us, as nature teaches us so many things, one thing the river teaches us is that we are ever evolving and ever changing. Every second you look at a river, it's never the same river because it's constantly flowing. And one of the life lessons that I've learned in life is that when life is an ever-changing thing, life is an ever-evolving thing, you can't stop time. The best thing that you can do for your overall well-being and for your mindset and for your mental health is to learn to allow, learn to flow, learn to be like the river, and know that you're always changing, you're always evolving, you're always flowing. The more that you can learn to flow and not resist the change, the more happy and content you will be with your life. Because the one constant in life is that it's always changing. So the sooner that you can accept that life is ever changing and you can choose to trust the flow of it, the happier and better you will feel. Just wanted to add in this additional note about that message I shared about how change is the only constant in life and how we have to learn to find ease with the flow of life and embrace change. I just wanted to add to that the reason why I had recently been dealing with some physical ailments and had been struggling with higher stress levels is because when we made the decision to move to Michigan, there was a lot of resistance from my end around allowing that decision to just be and to accepting that decision and finding peace with that decision. And it wasn't because it's not the right move for us to move to Michigan. I do feel like it's a really aligned decision, but it's because I had so many preconceived notions and ideas around when this move would happen. So just to give a little more context, when we took our trip to Michigan at the end of July, we were initially going just to scope out the idea of potentially moving there. We were checking out some different towns and seeing how we felt about the state because we hadn't spent a lot of time there. And within that trip, we also decided to see a few houses and ended up making an offer on a house. And the reason why I dealt with the turmoil and stress around that decision is because in my mind, we were just going on that trip to look for a house. We were not going to purchase a house. So the fact that that happened unexpectedly sent my mind into a spiral of distrust and dis-ease and not allowing the flow and not allowing that decision to happen, not trusting the universe, not trusting that everything happens for a reason. In that moment, I was having doubts and I was scared and I wasn't being trusting. which is why I experience the physical byproduct of not trusting and not being in a state of ease. So that's why I felt like I had to share that message today, that the sooner we can embrace change and we can embrace the flow of life and trust whatever's unfolding for us, that's what leads to our true happiness and wellness and satisfaction. It's when we fight against that we experience the dis-ease, the distrust, the unwellness. So if you find yourself in your life making a decision that you weren't expecting to make at the time, something unexpected popped up and you still allow yourself to say yes and you still allow yourself to choose that decision, it's equally as important, and it's more important to get behind yourself and get behind the decision and know that it's happening for a reason, and to trust fully that that reason is for your highest good and for your greatest alignment and for your truest happiness. So I feel like that's the end of my message today. It feels complete. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this video that's been all about the next life change, the next big change happening in my life, my personal update. And now we're just gonna sit and enjoy the river.